This time I got another TASCAM DAT machine that's been shipped in. This one here, the owner of it replaced the belt himself and said it doesn't play, that everything runs fast. I'm going to try to run this in real time and not cut too much out, so we'll see how quickly I can diagnose and fix this one. That's if I can fix it. You'll have to stick around and find out whether this one's going to stump me or not. Let's check it out. I received a TASCAM DA40. This one here, the owner of it replaced the belt and says it doesn't play at the right speed, so even sent it to me missing several of the screws. Just put one screw in it to hold the back on. Give this one a visual inspection first, like everything. Make sure there's nothing obvious, and then we'll blow the tape and see what it does. The data knob is missing, but I know the fellow requested if I could try to find one, but I don't know where I would find anything that would fit on that. I certainly don't have one. Let's load the tape and see that the tray doesn't even close properly. What the heck is going on? Okay, it loads the tape. It's playing in fast forward. That's not right. Take a look at how fast the counter is going. So this reads hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Watch how fast the second counter moves here. It's like it's in fast forward. Will it read the track? Nope. Okay, so let's just check this out and do some investigating. This could be an interesting one. It is reading the tape. It is reading the time code on the tape. So we know that the machine is reading, but why is it going as fast as it is? That's the strange thing. I guess first things first, I'll make sure that everything's all the connectors are seated properly. Pop the deck out and check the connectors on the bottom of that, make sure everything's seated properly. Oh, there's only two screws holding it in place. Okay, just pop it out. Oh, I see a screw that's just kind of lying here. What the hell is this? There's a screw that's just lying on, like, where'd that come from? And there's a screw missing from back here as well on this bracket, because I only took out these outer screws here. I did not take out any of the other screws. Okay. I guess what happened was when the fellow that owns it had the deck out, he removed these screws instead of the bracket. He only put one of them back in. That's what happened. So I'll just put the other screws back in here, remount the bracket the way it was. That's what happened there. See, there's two ways you can open these up. One, you can just remove the bracket, put which is what I usually do, and the other is just to remove the other 2 screws and just remove the deck. Okay, let's see what's going on here on this. The capstan motor is engaged when it's driving the tape. Like the pinch roller is engaged, but the capstan motor is running way too fast. So we got an error, either the motor's bad or it's a problem on the servo board here. And the servo board has our favorite surface mounted caps on it, so we could have a cap problem on this unit. Just going to unplug the power, and of course, oh, there's another screw that fell out. Where do these screws come from? There's screws falling out of this machine. I wonder if that has something to do with it, like maybe the screws were not put back in and there's a short circuit from somewhere. But these 2 screws were just loose inside the machine. I don't know where they were, where they belong, what they were sitting on, what they were touching, what they were shorting out. I assume they go in the board here to hold this board in. I think that's where they go. Because there's 2 more right over here. So I'm going to pull this board out and take a look underneath here. So I know the belt was changed on it, so I don't know if there's been anything else that's been left unplugged or whatever. So got to undo these connectors and pop this board out and take a look underneath it. Capstan motor there, drum motor, that belt was replaced. I guess I'll check the ESR on the caps and see whether any of them are bad. My fear is that those 2 screws that were floating around in the chassis, and remember this came through the post, so it's been turned over multiple times, and where I found them isn't necessarily where they were. They may have been lying on the board for all I know and blew something up. We might have a bad chip, we might have a bad capstan motor. The capstan motor is running way too fast, so it's not under servo control. Could be a bad cap in here. That one looks like it's open right there. Yeah, that one's open. See, that one's completely open. How about this one here? That one's open as well. So we could have a couple bad caps in the servo circuit. My meter's working. These caps are open. Those 3 for sure. I don't know about these bigger ones, these 100s. Or 0.3. Yeah, those ones are okay. These 3 are okay, it looks to be. Yeah, those ones are okay, but these 3 over here, oh, there's another one over here as well, there's another little one here, so let's just check this one. What is it reading? 14. What size is that? That's a 1 microfarad at 50 volts. So that's, yeah, it's probably okay. These ones here, though, these are open completely, so we'll change these ones out and see whether that fixes it, and hopefully that's all that's wrong. Because these 3 are definitely open, and this being the servo IC, this certainly could cause us problems. So let's just change out those three. They are, all three of them are 10 microfarad. And I'll have those. So let's just get the soldering iron warmed up, and we'll remove those and swap them out with some conventional ones. I'll put the board back in, and fingers crossed there's no further damage. Those screws didn't cause any damage. That's always the concern, right? That the screw has touched something and shorted something out and popped something in the capstan motor circuit. This is where the capstan motor plugs in. That's the plug there. Yeah, that's the capstan motor there. So let's change out those parts, see what happens. Oh, perfect. I happen to have 3, just what I need. We're going to nip them out with some cutters, because that's just the way I do things here. Got to protect the circuit board at all costs. Had to listen to my son complaining about work. He's a manager at a grocery chain, and he's a junior manager, and so he's complaining because he has 3 closing shifts a week, and how he doesn't have a life. I said to him, I said, you should be lucky you've got a job and you've got a management position with all the full benefits, unlike the regular workers that they only get part-time hours and they don't get all the benefits. I said, you should be lucky. You should be thanking them for giving you a management position. And so what if you got to work till 10:30 at night 3 times a week? It's better than some people that have to work shift work where they have to work all night. Okay, I tell you, kids these days, right? Not exactly a kid, he's 24, but still, it's amazing to see what is expected these days, right? I know some of you are thinking, what? Your son didn't follow in your footsteps and go down the electronics route or the phone company? I would say he made a very wise decision not to go down the electronics route, because there's no money in this, folks. There hasn't been for years. The only reason why those of us that still do this do it is sometimes for the challenge, but gives me something to do. I certainly don't do it to make money, which I don't make a lot doing this, that's for sure. I think I've mentioned it before, but really the only reason I even bother with fixing any electronics is just so I can do the content for the channel. If it wasn't for doing the content for the channel, then I wouldn't do it. Likewise, if there was no money, if the monetization went away on the YouTube channel, I think myself and many others would just throw in the towel and say we're done. That's why you don't tin something over top of the board. That can happen. Just got to make sure that nothing's splashed anywhere else. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let me remount the board and we'll test it and see what happens. Okay, there's the connectors to plug into here. This one goes in down here. That one goes in here, and the power connector goes in down to the bottom here. Alright, pop the mechanism back in place and we'll give it a try. Let's see whether it plays at the correct speed now. Ha 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 ha! There we go. That's how it's supposed to work. There you go. This is the TASCAM DA40. This is one of my favorite DAT recorders that's ever been made. I put them on a pedestal higher than pretty much everybody else's, just in terms of performance. These units are just absolutely beautiful. Love it. It's I mean, it's a great design. The fellow that owns this has got several others. This one's in actually pretty good cosmetic condition. Sans the missing button here, that dial. Let's see if I can remember how this thing works. Display. Okay, well, first of all, the display will show you your hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. This will show you error rates. I'm not putting any errors on this. This is fantastic. What's some of the other buttons on here? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember some of the other buttons. It's been so long since I've played around with it, but I can check the head, the hours on here? That one, drum. Oh, 0 hours? I think someone's reset it. It's definitely got more than 0 hours on it. Or maybe it does have 0 hours. Maybe it's just been sitting around for 40 years. This thing says drum has 0 hours, but I get a sneaking suspicion somebody has reset it because I can't see a unit like this not have been used, but then maybe it was. Mine's only got 200 hours on it. Mine's been used, well, I've used mine on and off for years. Now I know what someone's going to say. They're going to say, how the hell did you figure that out so quick? You open the unit up and you change 3 parts. How did you end up at those 3 parts? How did you figure it out so quick? I've never seen this failure before on one of these machines. I'm sure that at some point the machines I have will suffer the same failure. At some point they have not at this point in time. But I went right there from my experience on working with VCRs and just servo circuits in general. I knew where the capstan motor plugged in, so the circuitry near that where that capstan motor plugs in is going to be the servo circuitry. So I see 3 surface mounted electrolytic caps. This is from the era when caps were bad. You gotta go there first. The ESR meter, as soon as I put it on there and saw that the ESR was like through the roof, well, that just confirmed what I knew was going to be the problem, or what I suspected was going to be the problem. Of course, I didn't know that that was going to fix it. The next time I see one of these units and it's got the same symptom, I'll know, change those 3 caps. This is the first one of this that I've worked on with that problem. Everyone thinks that I'm a DAT expert, and I'm not a DAT expert. I'm the first to admit that. Yes, I work on a fair number of them, and I have success in the vast majority of the cases. I don't know how many I haven't fixed, but there hasn't been many. Been a few. There's been some that I've just refused to work on just because of the way they are constructed, namely the Walkmans. I just walk away from them because they are a nightmare to work on. I don't mind working on a unit like this where you've got room to work on them, but the little tiny Walkmans ones, forget it. I absolutely hate them, and I try to avoid them whenever possible. Anyway, this one's working. I'll go to the next track here. We'll verify that it's going to pick up the next track, which it is. It's queuing itself back, and we'll start playing. There we go. Skip ahead another track. There's one screw that I don't know where it goes on this that was packed in with this. It looks like a security screw. I don't recognize it, so I don't know where it goes. I put the 4 screws in, or the 3 others that were missing. They were in the bag, and I've got the screws for the top cover are also in the bag. I'm going to put those back in, but that one I have no idea where that's from. I'll have to look and see if I can figure out where that screw came from, if it came from this machine at all. That's the problem when you work on things that people have been into, is that sometimes you have to try to second guess what they disassembled. Anyway, this is working. I want to go back a couple tracks here. I'll go back 3 tracks. Make sure that that's all working. Which it is. I'll rewind the tape back to the beginning, and I will say thanks for watching. This one is now repaired, and I fixed it in record time. I'm not cutting anything out, so what you see here is how long it took to fix. Run this in real time, other than putting a few screws in. I was going to give this unit a test. I always test these units out, run a couple tapes through them end to end to make sure everything's good before I put the top on, but Say, this one's basically done. Thanks for watching. We will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.